What up? It's Chi Chi again, part two of the Check Yourself um, self love videos, the part two. So, welcome back to the Queen's Den. We left off basically talking about who we are, where we're headed, and not making any more excuses. Like, we cannot make any more excuses for why we're not living the dopest life ever, okay? There's no excuse why we're not trying to be better. There's no excuse why, or there's no reason for us to want to continue to live the same, like boring life of conformity. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse why you're not living your full potential. There's just no excuse for it. And I'm hoping with this video we can, get rid of all these blocks and excuses and reasons why we're not living the dopest mother effing life we could possibly live. Okay, I hope to get rid of all of those things, or at least start the process on changing little things. So where I left off on the last video is talking about making a wins list. So your winning list. Okay, so again, when it comes to improving your life and getting more in tune with self love and self help and self love, when it comes to all those things, it's so important to consider, you know, the most important things in your life. And just in my opinion, health is very important. Health goes into physical, it goes into mental. So it's really important to have your health together, okay? Because you're going to be so unable to help anyone else if you don't get your own health in check and improve areas of your life. And you just never know who you can inspire to be better with just your actions on healing and helping yourself. So I think it's a great idea to create a small wins list. And basically, what that is a list of things that you deem exciting and fun and fulfilling to yourself when you achieve small things that you've set out for yourself, small goals. So, let's say your goal was to this week, I want to be in nature more, I want to do a trail walk. Or even let's say I want to try to do yoga, or even I want to try to meditate for 5 minutes. I want to try. You know what I mean? The small wins list will basically give you something like an option, give you options to celebrate yourself. And these celebrations are not for anyone else to give you; they're for you to give yourself. So, like I have my own celebration. I'll share with you one of my small wins when I accomplish something that I want to accomplish. So a small one of mine would be to take a nap. And that sounds ridiculous to some, but I think a lot of people know where I'm coming from, where taking a nap is huge because you probably ripping and running all day. You got kids. In your ear all day. You got a day job. So a nap is like so important to me, at least, because I truly had to work on my rest, like getting rest to help myself, because rest is so necessary for your body, for your mind, and for it's also just a necessity when you have goals and ahead of you and you want to accomplish them. You want to basically get as much rest as you can so that you can be able to get up and get things going. You want to get some rest for real. Um, Another one that I consider a small win, like so when I accomplish something that I like to accomplish, like finishing a book that I've started to read, actually completing stuff. Like the goal is to, the whole point of it is completion. So I've started plenty of things and not completed them. So so, like I said, if I was to complete a book, I would celebrate by my favorite ice cream is the Haagen-Dazs bar with the almonds in it. Yeah, that's popping. That's my favorite. But that is a little celebration because I don't like to, buy too. I don't want to buy it all the time. I think it's something that kind of I should earn because you don't want to. And also, I'm big. I try to stay on track with my health and stuff, and I try not to take a lot of dairy and stuff in because dairy brings mucus, and I struggle with that because I'm a big dairy kind of person. So I've had to limit my dairy intake because it's just not good for the body. But I celebrate with my little Haagen-Dazs ice cream bar with almonds. I celebrate that way, and I feel like that's something that I deserve. And I'll just share one more. Um, this was my favorite one. And it's actually on my big wins and small wins list, and we'll talk about the big wins list. Um, 60 minutes of silence, some numyo, husa, like quiet time. Like, do you know how hard that is to get? Like, do you? Do you have kids? Do you have family? Do you have friends always in your ear? Well, putting 60 minutes or whatever number you want on your 60 minutes of silence on your small wins list is the dopest thing ever because you'll feel like a whole different person like when you finally get some time to yourself. Like you tell the husband and the kids, I don't want to know y'all for 60 minutes, like straight up like that. Straight up. I am alone for 60 minutes. Y'all can leave. Y'all can go into one room in the corner. Y'all can go walk around the block. Y'all can take a trip. But I want my own time to be myself with myself in peace and quiet and relaxation for 60 minutes. Leave me the hell alone. Okay? Love you. Leave me alone. All right? 60 minutes. That's on my big winning list also. So my big winning list now, a big winning list is very similar to the small winning list, but that's when you get through those little steps I was talking about to a big thing that you've been wishing to accomplish. So I know everybody named Mama have to have vacation on here. Ain't nothing better than a vacay, a road trip. There's nothing better than that. Like the getaway, new scenery, different, the air different, right? Taste it, air be different, sun shining different. A vacay is totally awesome and something to have on your list. Depending on who you are, shit, you can put that on your small list. If you about that life, shit. Anytime something small, you on the road and going off to the next place. I feel you on that. I'm gonna try to get that on my small list eventually, okay? Because I got some work to do, and I'll be able to do that. But I'll share another one. Now me, I like tattoos, so I just think a big win for a big winning gift to myself would or a celebration to myself would get some kind of symbolic tattoo um, of the journey that I'm going through. I think it is so dope. A lot of people have their own um, opinions about tattoos and all types of dumb shit, but that's how I feel. I think it would be dope to have something symbolic for the journey that you're going through. There's nothing cooler than that to remind you of your fight, you're scratching and you're crawling to your victory, to a big victory that you've been really trying to stay focused on and going support. So it's nothing better to remind you of that time. Because if you have that reminder, it just reminds you of how strong you are and how disciplined you are and how dedicated you were to accomplishing that. So I think that is just the dopest thing to have. So other than that, yeah, so that's my I have tons of other stuff. I would say do 10 things if you can. 10 would be great. Um fuck it. I'll share one more. Oh, I did share one more. I have 60 minutes of silence on that list too, because I need my quiet time. Like I need time to myself. I can't be running around with my family all the time. I love y'all to life and to the moon and back, but I need my time alone. Okay. And if you already alone, not like in the sense of you don't have a significant other, but if you don't have kids, then add something else to the list. But a lot of people surround themselves with friends and people all the time, all day long, and they don't even get any time to and family, and they don't get any time to themselves. So I just think it's a great time, you know, silence with yourself and time to yourself. It's always great to have that. So, other than that, what I wanted to just express is that a lot of us don't realize that we have a dark side to us. Ooh, dark. We have a dark side to us, and it is our ego. Okay? It is our ego who just loves negativity. Okay? Our ego is so interested in suffering and sabotaging your true happiness that we just really don't. We're just in, like I said before in the last video, like we're in autopilot and we don't realize that our other side, our ego, is sabotaging our happiness. So it really pays to get aware of when you are having moments like that where let's say you're getting everything done, like you're like, oh wow, I'm getting everything done, I finished early, I accomplished this, that, and the third, and all of a sudden you start worrying about some other shit out of nowhere, like where that shit even come from. You're like, I'm good though, like I just completed this. I feel good. And all of a sudden, you start worrying and you start bringing yourself down. Like drawing yourself back down into that negative energy, pulling you back down, sabotaging your happiness. And you're no longer happy in that moment. And oh God, I've had those times where I've just accomplished things and then I found a way to sabotage it by worrying about some other shit that wasn't even happening. Like, just what the hell am I worrying about? So you have to really be aware of the self-sabotaging part of yourself that is used to the program life you've been living. Like you've been doing the same shit over for God knows how long, and now all of a sudden you trying to change a little something, something. Your ego ain't feeling that. It's like, oh, what the hell are you trying to do? Hold up, no, we don't like that. We don't get happy. We ain't with it. Okay, your ego does not like change. It is there to continue to help sabotage you. As long as you don't get it in check, as long as you don't get that in check and keep it in check, you're going to continue to have those problems with yourself, where you're self sabotaging yourself. Um, Also, we have to stop putting limits on our happiness. Like we have to really be willing to stop limiting our happiness. It's all about your willingness. Again, like I said, your will, which is your heart, is very, very powerful. Your mind is the force, and then everything else will come in alignment. But you have to be willing to stop putting a limit on your happiness. So there's times where I I've dealt I've talked to people and they've come to me and they're like, I really I've been happy, and then all of a sudden I'll just get upset and get sad. Well, because you're programmed. Unfortunately, it's such a terrible word, but you're programmed to only have a certain amount of happiness for yourself because this is what you're used to. So, in order to combat that nonsense that you've been telling yourself, is to fight it. Identify it, stop in your tracks and tell yourself, stop worrying about that. You're good. You know what I mean? Like, you're good. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to be angry. Um, you shouldn't even have any bad days. You should have, little moments where things, a little hiccup, but you take control back over it. You control it. You're like, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to limit my happiness. Why should I limit my happiness? I'm good. I've had a good day. I don't have bad days. I move forward and I keep pushing. Stop limiting your happiness. Okay? And your ego ain't got no choice but to comply. Okay? You need to comply, ego, dark side, asshole. You need to comply. Okay? So you really want to start to be aware of your thoughts, okay? Because your thoughts are going to, like I said, they have energy. So the second you start thinking about some other shit that has nothing to do with the happiness that you just experienced, you are giving energy to that thought, and that thought is just manifesting all of this anxiety and stress and worrying, and now you're not even in the happy place that you once was, where people probably like to see you, so, and probably where you like to be, and don't understand why your ass can't stay there. So take note of your thoughts, and that'll be a clear indication why you can't stay in your happiness, because you allow those thoughts to manifest and fester into more, and you just give it so much energy that you give it life. It's just a thought. Let it go. Let that shit go. Let that shit swim by like it's like it's just in a sea. Let it swim by and just pass you and let it go. And don't forget to be present in that moment and keep your happiness. You gotta keep that energy and practice keeping that energy every single day. You want to fill your thoughts, your body, your soul with positive thoughts and energy so that you're manifesting things that are just good for you and that you've always dreamed of. You want to transform those negative things into positive things so that you can manifest all the things that you really, really want out of life and all the things that you really need. You cannot keep letting those negative thoughts, those negative feelings, those past experiences dictate your current, present happiness. Okay? It is so important to be present, breathe, and let it go. Let it up. Give it up. Give it up to the divine. Give it up to the Most High. Let them transform it into something useful for you. Because you gave it up. So that's half the battle. Before, you was holding on to the shit. Now you letting it go. So you're doing better than before. You're doing better than yesterday. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's so important to be aware of your energy, your thoughts. This is all still a part of self love and self care. Um, it's also important to let go of those past experiences that even gave you a negative feeling about yourself. Like, it's already done. All those things in the past are already done. They're not happening to you now. So it's best for you to just let them go. Don't think of the worst that can happen, because once you start thinking about the worst that could happen, it will. Okay? People don't understand their ability to manifest is so very powerful, and you manifest these things into your reality. You just do. You fight with yourself, and you don't give yourself enough credit. You don't give yourself enough credit for even getting past things that you once weren't able to get past. You don't give yourself enough pats on the back. You don't give yourself enough love and forgiveness for past things that got you to this moment. Forgive yourself for even letting those things invade your thoughts. Forgive yourself and just be better. Like, love yourself. Be willing to forgive yourself and love yourself. Be willing to accept, like, okay, well, if people don't love this about me and they think, this makes me unlovable, still be willing to love yourself anyway. It's okay. It's okay. You are who you are. The whole goal of this life is just to be the best you, to be enlightened and in your higher self. Everyone's too busy living in their lower self. And what does that even sound like? Your lower self. That means you're not living up to the best that you could be. So people are spending too much time in their lower self, and in their woulda, coulda, shoulda life, and I did this and I know that. They're not being present in the moment of the experience and the learning experience, I should say, for them to take the chance to be better and to heal and help themselves. So as soon as you can learn to transform your negative thoughts into positive thoughts, and give up those thoughts, and don't even hold on to them. Give them up to the angels, to just let them deal with that. You don't even need to deal with it. Whatever happens is going to happen beyond your control anyway. We all have to learn that we don't control everything. We do not control everything that happens to us. Okay, it's all a series of decisions that we make that lead up to a moment, and at some point you just gotta let go, and you cannot control it. You're holding on for dear life, and it's pulling, and you're tugging back. It's a tug of war, and we ain't got time for all that. Okay, let the divine deal with that. Let them angels deal with it. That's what they are here for. I'm not just talking shit. I'm just saying. I'm just being real. That's what they're here for. Okay, they're here to help you make the load lighter for yourself, so that you can continue on your path, and so that they can, once you do give up all that negativity, you make, like I told you before, you're making space to receive. So if you are all clouded up with all these negative things and blockages that are stopping you and self-sabotaging yourself, you're not going to be able to receive. Okay? You have to have faith and trust in the divine and in your angels, that they are going to make sure the best things happen for you, and that you're going to be led on the best path. And these things are happening for you for a reason, happening to you for a reason. Okay? So, and you know, that was my biggest thing too, was learning to let go. It is it is so hard. I'm not even gonna, bullshit you. It is so hard to let go of past burdens, because they still linger. They're not resolved. You still have them in the back, and then they come up with new situations come up and new shit comes up. So it's like you never dealt with them. You just threw them in the back. So you got to learn to start dealing with shit and getting it up out the way. All right. So that is it for today. And the Queens, then I'm Chi Chi, and again, think it, will it, kill it. Whatever you put your energy into, as far as your thoughts, your dreams, as long as you can think it and believe it, you put your heart into it, your willpower, you can kill that shit. Believe me, all right? Believe in yourself, all right? It's all love. Peace.